Hi guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video today, we're going to talk about 5 mistakes that you should avoid when you are investing on a tax-free savings account. So these tax-free savings account has been discussed a lot on social media and everywhere else. However, there's so many people who still don't understand how it works. So there is commonly done mistakes, which is something which I'll be addressing today so that you do not have to make the same mistakes that other people have made. Okay, so for some of you who do not know, a tax-free savings account was introduced to South Africa in 2015, and it was introduced to encourage South Africans to start investing and saving by giving them tax relief on their saving and investment accounts, and of course their accounts which qualifies for tax-free and those that do not, right? So if you invest on a tax-free savings account or accounts that qualifies for tax-free savings account, you will not pay tax on dividends, you will not pay tax on interest, you will not pay tax on capital gains as well. So this is such an amazing thing because we can invest without feeling the pain of tax, right? So there are limitations, however, on this account, and the limitations are that you can only invest 36,000 annually, and then you can also invest 500,000 in a lifetime, right? So these are the two limitations, and if you happen to exceed these limitations or this cap, you will be penalized by paying 40% tax, which is really extreme. So we need to try by all means to avoid anything outside of those terms and conditions so that we don't get to pay the tax. Okay, so the best way to invest correctly on a tax-free savings account is to have an understanding that this is a product that must be used for long-term investment, and if you get that correctly, you most likely to understand these terms. Okay, so number one mistake is people thinking that they can carry over the amount that they didn't get to deposit in the current year. For an example, if you happen to deposit only 20,000 this year, the 16,000 that adds up to the 20,000 to make it 36 doesn't get carried over to the next year, right? So the 36,000 is for every individual year. So if you don't get to invest the full 36,000, you don't carry over the remainder to the following year. If you happen to carry it over and pay more than 36,000 on the following year, you will get penalized. Okay, so that's number one mistake that you need to be mindful of, to not carry over the amount which is remaining if you don't get to maximize your tax-free savings account. Number two, there is temptation, right, of using tax-free savings account for everything. Some people open up accounts like emergency fund on a tax-free savings account or any banking account, right? In as much as the bank really highly promote the tax-free savings account, really tax-free savings account don't work for banking products. This is simply because if you save for emergency on a tax-free savings account, and when emergency happen, you need to withdraw the money. And when you withdraw the money, some people start thinking that they can replenish it. They can go and deposit that money again. For an example, again, you save your 20,000 this year for emergency, and an emergency does happen and you withdraw that emergency. When you deposit that money back to replenish your emergency fund, it is constitute as new deposit. They don't think that, oh well, she's redepositing the money that she withdrew. So if you deposit 20,000, even if you withdraw it, you are only left with 16,000 for that year, right? So the third thing is to use tax-free savings account on fixed deposit. And like I said, guys, the bank are really good in advertising the tax-free savings account, and to be honest, it's a good sales point, but let's just make sure that we use it in the correct accounts that benefits us. And how do we know that? It's accounts that allows us to deposit in a longer term without the time limit. The issue with the depositing tax-free savings account on a fixed account is that even if it's for 5 years, that fixed deposit account gets to mature after the stipulated time, or after the time in which you're saving the fixed deposit account for, And when it matures, your money gets automatically deposited into your savings or current account, right? Meaning that that deposit, it's a withdrawal from your tax-free savings account into your current account. And that is the withdrawal that I spoke about. If you withdraw, you can replenish, right? And moving on to the fourth one, that withdrawal that we are talking about, it limits your lifetime, or it reduces your lifetime contribution, right? So the way tax-free savings account is structured, it's structured in a way that you can benefit from the compound effects of the money that you're putting into this account, right? So if you have 500,000, for an example, maybe you manage to maximize your tax-free savings account every year, and on the 14th year you get to reach your 500,000 limit, and you have 500,000 together with interest or together with capital gains and dividends, that does not get taxed. Imagine that amount of money that does not get taxed, and it keeps on compounding on top of your compound, on top of interest without getting any tax. So that's where you get the benefit of tax-free, right? So if you happen to start withdrawing or using this kind of like emergency fund or fixed deposit account, withdrawing constantly and actively withdrawing, you minimize that 500,000. Therefore, your compound is a compound of a smaller amount. Then in the time in which you're supposed to benefit highly and start seeing the reward of a tax-free savings account, you already maybe have withdrawn, let's say for an example, 150,000. So try to make sure that you don't use it for accounts that allows you to withdraw. And I'm not saying that you should not withdraw if there's a need to withdraw. Just be mindful that you are reducing the 500,000, and the amount which you withdraw cannot be replenished. I think lastly, I would say that multiple accounts. So because there is opportunity to open many accounts on a tax-free savings account, some people think that each and every account has its own 36,000, right? And this is not true. Like collectively, the accounts which you open on a tax-free savings account, they're supposed to collectively come to 36,000. And if you have many accounts that are tax-free, maybe you have one in the bank, one with easy equity, one on a unit trust, the issue with that is that it's difficult to manage. It's difficult for you to know that now I've reached my 36,000, I should not deposit more. So you're most likely to exceed the limit and defaults or lose the advantage of not getting taxed and get taxed 40%, which is really, really heavy. So these are the 5 things which you need to avoid so that you use the tax-free savings account correctly. I hope you found this video helpful. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. And if you've watched until the end of this video, give me a heart on the comment section so that I know that you have watched it fully. Thank you. Goodbye.